Good afternoon, grade 10. Today, I am going to discuss about birth control. This is teacher Mildred and this is biology grade 10. Birth control can help couples to have no more children than they want. Birth control is important in keeping family sizes small and in limiting the increase in the human population. Careful and responsible use of birth control methods means no unwanted children are born. The first method of birth control is the natural methods. Natural methods of birth control involve the couple avoiding sexual intercourse completely, or abstinence, or ensuring that they do not have sexual intercourse when the woman has an egg in her oviducts. This is a risky method and only works for women who have very regular and predictable menstrual cycles. However, it is useful for couples who do not wish to use other birth control methods for religious or other reasons. A woman can work out the safe period when an egg is least likely to be in her oviducts. She needs to keep a careful record of her body temperature. Usually, the temperature rises slightly around the time of ovulation. In addition, a woman can check the mucus that is produced in her vagina. This becomes more liquid and slippery around the time of ovulation. If the woman has a regular cycle, then she can use this to predict when ovulation will take place. She should then avoid sexual intercourse on the 3 or 4 days either side of this date. However, few women have completely regular cycles, and this makes this method of birth control unreliable. The second method of birth control is the chemical methods. Chemicals called the spermicides can be used to kill sperm when they enter the vagina. They are best used in combination with another method. For example, spermicides may be inserted into the vagina with a diaphragm or cap. The picture shows a diaphragm in which the spermicide is placed. Various birth control methods such as the diaphragm and spermicide prevent sperm and egg from meeting. Another type of chemical birth control is the use of sex hormones to disrupt the menstrual cycle. A woman can take the contraceptive pill which stops eggs being produced in her ovaries. The pill contains progesterone and estrogen. She may have to take a pill each day or she may be given a long-lasting injection of contraceptive hormones. Next is the use of an IUD or intrauterine device. An IUD is a device that is placed inside the uterus and therefore has to be fitted by a doctor. Some types of IUD contain copper. A similar device called an IUS slowly releases hormones that prevent implantation. This interferes with the ability of sperm to find and fertilize an egg and also prevents the implantation and development of any egg that does get fertilized. The third method for birth control is the mechanical methods. Some birth control methods can work by putting a barrier between the eggs and sperm. The most widely used mechanical method of birth control is a condom, a thin sheath that is placed over the man's erect penis and that stops any sperm getting into the woman's vagina. Using a condom also gives an advantage that it stops any pathogens passing between the couple. So it is a good protection against the transmission of diseases such as gonorrhea or HIV or AIDS. Women can use a female version of a condom. It is called a femidom. It is placed inside the vagina and works in a similar way. An alternative method for a woman is to use a diaphragm, sometimes called a cap. This is a circular, slightly domed piece of rubber which is inserted into the vagina and which covers the cervix, thus stopping sperm getting past it and into the uterus. To make absolutely sure that none can squeeze past, it is a good idea to use a spermicide cream as well. The last method for birth control is the surgical methods. For men, it is called vasectomy. Vasectomy is the operation for a man. It is a quick and simple operation usually done under local anesthetic. The sperm duct is cut and the cut ends are tied. For women, the surgical operation is called surgical cutting of the oviducts or tubectomy or tubal ligation. It is a procedure in which the oviducts are cut and the cut ends are tied. Below are the surgical methods both for men and women. For men, it is called vasectomy, the cutting and tying of sperm ducts, and for women is the tubal ligation, which is the cutting and tying of oviducts. Whereas many couples want to use birth control methods to limit the number of children that they have, others have the opposite problem. They are not able to have children. The problem that is causing the couple's infertility may be in the man or in the woman. For example, the man may not be producing healthy sperm. If this is the case, then the couple may decide that they will have a baby using sperm from another man. Sperm from a donor is collected in a clinic and can be stored at a low temperature for many months or even years. The woman can then attend the clinic, and some of the sperm can be placed into her vagina. This is called artificial insemination. Artificial insemination may be a real help to a couple, as it allows them to have a child that they could not otherwise have. However, they need to think very carefully about this before they go ahead and make sure that they are both happy with the idea. The man has to be able to accept that the child they have is not biologically his. Problems can also be caused when the child grows up and wants to know who is his or her biological father. It can be very difficult for a young person not to know this, so some people think that the identity of the sperm donor should be given to the child. Others, however, think that this may cause more problems than it solves because one sperm donor could end up being the father of many children. Indeed, fewer people would be likely to become sperm donors in many countries if this information was freely available. Another way in which an infertile couple can be helped is using fertility drugs. This method is used when the woman is not producing enough eggs. She is given hormones including FSH that cause her to produce eggs. Sometimes these are simply allowed to be released into the oviducts in the normal way. Sometimes the eggs are removed from her ovaries just before they are due to be released and placed in a warm liquid in a petri dish. Some of her partner's sperm are then added and fertilization takes place in the dish. This is called in vitro fertilization or IVF. In vitro means in a glass. Two or three of the resulting zygotes are then placed into her uterus where they develop in the usual way. This method is quite expensive, and some people think that it should not be freely available to anyone who wants it. Others think that the inability to have children can be so devastating to a couple that they should receive the treatment free of charge. The treatment is not always successful and may have to be repeated many times before a woman becomes pregnant. Another problem is that, while usually only one of the embryos develops, sometimes two or three do, so that the couple might have twins or triplets when they really only wanted one child. And that's the end of the lesson about methods of birth control. Remember, you can choose the birth control that would suit you, but be responsible.